welcome to our tailgate cook-along. Today we're going to share with you some safe tailgating ideas and a beef-loving Texan recipe, which is beef fajita soup, and we're going to give you our tailgate version of that. So today I will be getting all of the soup ready and to show you how to transport it safely to the tailgating party, while Andrew later is going to show you how to safe grill the beef that goes in this recipe. Alright, so let's get started. First, we're going to use an electric skillet, and this could be done if you have access to electricity while you're tailgating. It could be done at the tailgate, or it could be done at home prior to the tailgate. What my idea is to keep it easy is to just saute your vegetables, throw them all into a crock pot, have your soup and everything simmering, carry it hot to the tailgate, and then while you're at the tailgate you can safely grill the beef, slice it up, and serve it with your soup. So for this video we're going to start off sauteing the vegetables in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Olive oil is a good essential oil, and it's a good choice for sauteing vegetables. So I've already got my skillet heating up a little. We'll just let the oil heat some. One thing that you need to make sure before you ever start any of your cooking, to make sure your hands are washed thoroughly. My hands have been washed right before I began. So while the oil is heating, you can go ahead and chop your vegetables. I've pre-chopped 1 cup of yellow onion, so that's going to go in first. Another option is your bell peppers. Now the recipe calls for 1 cup of red and orange bell peppers. You can use any color that suits your taste. I have used red, orange, and also a little bit of a pepper I've seen out lately, and that's the flame pepper. So I've got that going. Meanwhile, while this is going, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the rest of the soup in the crock pot. So we've got a crock pot here, and if you look at the other ingredient list, it calls for a can of refried beans, a can of black beans. I've already pre-rinsed these beans at home. When you rinse your beans, it takes away some of that added sodium, which makes the soup healthier. So we're just going to pour that in the crock pot. And then we have a ingredient of whole kernel canned corn. You could also use fresh corn if you have that available. And when I make my soups, I usually just throw in the whole can of corn. But again, if you're watching your sodium, your corn can be rinsed just like the beans are, to try to save some of that sodium count. But I think in soups, the juice of the corn gives it a good flavor. Another ingredient that I'm going to add that wasn't listed in this in this beef loving Texan recipe is 1 can of fire roasted tomatoes. And I think they give everything a good flavor. So we're going to pour in that. And I'll give this another little stir. And I'm also going to add in a little garlic to these vegetables. You can use fresh garlic, but this jar garlic is just really easy. So I'm going to just do a couple of teaspoonfuls of the garlic while we saute. Alright, and then we're going to add our seasonings, and I'm going to go ahead and add the seasonings in the crock pot. We've got a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to dump that in. And we've got a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. And 1 tablespoon of chili powder. And then it also calls for some coarsely ground pepper. And it calls for 1/2 teaspoon
But I love peppers, so I'm going to go ahead and add a whole teaspoon. But again, season it to your likes. If you don't want it as peppery, then go less for the pepper. Alright. And then we're just going to stir this up in the crock pot. And the last thing that we're going to add is beef broth. I believe it calls for 3 cups of beef broth. There's 1, 2, 3. And I have a little bit of beef broth left. As this cooks, I may go ahead and add it just to make the soup go a little further. And it shouldn't change the taste any. Alright, so all we like is adding these vegetables and then setting our crock pot on to simmer. Again, this can be done earlier in the day, and you can simmer it several hours, but probably do it at least 2 hours before you're going to leave for the tailgate, so that it's all combined and has plenty of time to simmer. Once you're at the tailgate, you can stay tuned for Andrew's portion, where he's going to show you how to safely grill the beef, and then we'll show you how to serve the soup. Right, thank you.
Right there you can see all the vegetables, all those great colors. And so they're going to simmer and meld with the seasonings for a few hours in the crock pot. Again, this could be made early morning and leave all day, and then when you get ready to pack up for the game, just add your crock pot in. Remember to transport hot foods hotly and cold foods cold. So if you do have cold foods that we're going to add later to this, like your avocado, cheese, and things, that needs to stay cold until serving. And then keep your crock pot as hot as possible. Hopefully, if you have electricity, you would keep it under electricity. If not, just watch those temperatures so that you're keeping it at a safe serving temperature.
Okay, so now that Lori has showed you how to put the soup together, I'm going to show you how to season your fajitas. Okay, so my name is Andrew Lewis. I'm the Ag Natural Resource Agent here in Navarro County, and I'm going to show you the second part of this recipe, how to marinate and then also how to grill your fajitas. We're starting out with some skirt steak. You can use flank steak and other thinly cut steaks, but Lori got me some skirt steak. So I'm going to take this, don't forget to wash your hands, and get it in here in a gallon Ziploc baggie. And if you're cooking for a lot, you might have to do a couple bags or a bigger bag. And then olive oil, still some of Lori's. And then you can use a pre-made fajita seasoning. You can do your own. I've been digging this Texan fajita seasoning from Brookshire's. So. And I'm not like Lori, I don't measure. But this is almost empty, so I'm probably gonna have to dip into my other little seasoning. And then, don't zip it all the way up. Do that. And mix it all around. Ooh, I forgot. I got some limes. Hold on one second. Mix this all around. So, forgot to mention that I picked up some limes to go in here. And so I'm just going to cut them in half because all I'm going to do is throw them in the bag, juice them and throw them in the bag. I'm doing 2 because I like a lot of lime. Lori might tell you otherwise after we get this put together and taste it. Then, about halfway sealed, so some air can escape. Move all that around. Make sure your seasoning's getting put all over. And then it's going to happen instantaneously for you, but we're going to set it in the fridge for about 30 minutes and let it marinate a little bit. See you in a minute. So, before you ever bring your meat out to put on the grill, you got to make sure your grill's heated up first. So make sure your knobs are in the off position. Your propane is also in the off position. Go ahead, open your grill up. Turn your bottle on. And ignite. Put this down while it comes up to temperature. All right, now that our grill's up to temperature, we're gonna go ahead and throw on our skirt steak. Make sure you've washed your hands, sanitized your tongs, wash your tongs. We're gonna go in here, oh, it smells good. We're going to cook those to the internal temperature of 145. Okay, steaks have been on there for a few minutes. We've flipped them a time or two. Going to go on with our meat thermometer. We're looking for an internal temperature of 145. Make sure you measure in the thickest part of the meat. And we still got a good ways to go. I say good ways, a little ways to go. We'll check back in a few seconds. All right. Been on there, flipped a few times, about 10 minutes altogether. So let's pull these up. Put our thermometer in. We're looking for 145. And we're there. A little over actually. So, cut my fire off, turn off my propane tank, and get these ready to take into Lori. We'll see you inside. Steak tray. Make sure you let them rest for about 5 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to our tailgate cook-along. We've got the meat ready that Andrew grilled safely on the grill, and it's at the correct temperature of 145. And he's gonna slice some up. Meanwhile, the rest of the fajita, beef fajita soup has been cooking in the crock pot, and it's been simmering for about 3 hours, and it looks ready. Once again, you can simmer it at least 3 hours or all day if you need to prepare. And then it's hot and ready to transport to your tailgate. So remember some safety rules on tailgating. You need to keep everything covered, keep your cold foods cold, keep your hot foods hot, keep your serving utensils clean and covered if needed. And then remember the 2-hour rule. You don't need anything left out in the heat over 2 hours without it being either chilled or kept hot. So that looks good.
Alright, Larissa, I've got this cut up a little thicker than I want to, but that's enough for all of us here in the office. And if you're ready, we can go ahead and plate.
Alright, so this is a beef-loving Texans recipe, and it called for top sirloin steak. However, we chose flank steak, and Andrew's got that grilled up, and it's a leaner cut and maybe a little bit healthier. So here's the soup in the crock pot, and I'm just going to dish some up. And along with this soup, to make it tasty, you have an array of toppings to choose from. So we're going to top it with the fajita beef. And just going to put a few strips of fajita beef in there. And then use your favorite toppings. The recipe suggests some sour cream. This is a light sour cream. So we're just going to put a dollop right there. And then cheese. This is a 2% cheese to cut back on some of the calories. So we're just going to put that around. And then if you love avocado like I do, you can top it with some avocado. Fresh cilantro. If you're brave and want some jalapenos, I have some jalapeno rings here. I took out the seeds, so they're not going to be quite as hot as they would be if I'd left the seeds in. And then finish with a squeeze of lime juice and a few tortilla chips, and it's ready to go. Beef fajita tonight from Beef Loving Texans. So this will be posted on the comments when you watch the video. If you'll look down in the comments, I will post the recipe so you can try this yourself. And I'll also give some links to dinner tonight where you can get other tailgate safety tips and lots of tasty recipes. dinnertonight.tamu.edu. Thank you. And once again, I'm Lori Stovall from Navarro County, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, the Family Community Health Agent. And joining me is
Andrew Lewis, the Ag and Natural Resources Agent in Navarro County, and thank y'all.